It's the first game of the season in the books. UConn 94, Sacred Heart 56. Come join us. We're doing a live reaction show. You're locked on.
You are Locked On UConn, your daily podcast on the UConn Huskies. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On UConn your first listen every day. We are here live after the opening night, banner night for the back-to-back national champion, UConn Huskies. I've had my 2024 national championships banner up for 6 months. I forget when the last time we did that, but I love to see how everything unfolded tonight. UConn 94, Sacred Heart 56. A lot to unpack. Most notably, right from the start of the game, we essentially do a starting lineup that a lot of us didn't think about, other than, I'm not going to say myself, I'm sure some people thought of this too, but I was one of the first people to talk about how I felt like Hassan Diarra would eventually be on the bench to start the season, because sometimes you just go with what's familiar. And what's familiar is Haas coming off the bench as a sixth man. And I don't know if that's going to be the prevailing theme for the year, but that was the starting lineup. You had Aidan Mahaney, Liam McNeeley, Solo, Samson, and Alex. Pretty much that's kind of what we were going with throughout the entire year. But Haas was kind of making that move to kind of making that push. But I don't know. I don't know if that's going to end up being the prevailing theme for the year. But we'll talk about it tonight. We got some people that are, as I posted on Twitter all year, guys. I want this to be like a call-in radio show. I don't want to talk for 30 minutes like I do on a regular basis. If we're doing a live reaction show, I want more than just my reaction. I want the fans' reactions other than just the comments. So I'm going to post the invite into the chat as well. So feel free to pop in. You don't need to be on video. If you want to be, that's fine. We'll put you on. But if you want to talk about this game, let's do it. A couple of key notes. The link is in the chat. It's on Twitter. Check it out. One of the key notes from this game was pace of play was a little sloppy, a little slow. But we're also still kind of feeling some stuff out. I did kind of a stream of consciousness notes throughout the game. Some really cool stuff. Give you a good thought process. Braylon Mullins was at the game today. So at the beginning of the game, Kyle Bergstrom, I see him backstage. We're going to get his thoughts on the game here in a second. And Nathan Lussier, I see you too, man. We'll get you on as well. But Braylon was at the game, and I guess there was a Braylon Mullins chant, which was pretty awesome. He was there with his mom and his dad, I think a couple of coaches from his high school in Indiana. So really cool stuff. David Borges is doing a story about him. I think you can look at it now on Connected Insider. He's my guest on the show on Friday. That will come out next Monday. So make sure you check out Braylon's interview on Locked On UConn starting next Monday. We're gonna record it on Friday. So sluggish start offensively. Movement needs to be a little crisper, a little faster, but that's gonna happen. Samson, I thought, was very impressive early. Was all over the place. Liam McNeeley looks like he could have started on this team last year. He is legit a bucket getter. He is fantastic. Solo is also taking that leap, making a charge as the starting shooting guard on this team. I think Aiden was still kind of feeling his way out. Tarris Reed, man, what a debut. I tweeted this out. Before this game, the only person that had a double-double to his name in a collegiate basketball game was Tarris Reed. Well, Tarris Reed got a double-double tonight, and so did Liam McNeeley. What a day. Like, to come in and be an 18-10 guy in the very first game and look kind of like a veteran in your first college game was the most impressive thing that I saw tonight. But those are my initial reactions. There's still a lot of stuff to clean up. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Let's get Kyle's reaction, because I want to hear from him. We talked to him earlier in the day. Let's bring him in. What's up, my guy?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, brother. What are your thoughts from the game, man? What did you think?
Oh, great. I mean, for the first game of the season, definitely a little bit sloppy in terms of pace of play.
Sure.
it just looked like some of the pattern, like the guys weren't totally connected yet.
You're breaking up, buddy. You're breaking up. Hey, I'm gonna drop you off. Get to a better connection and stay on and come back, okay? Let's get Tyler on here. Tyler, what's up, dude?
What's going on?
How you doing, brother?
Doing well.
What are your reactions from the game? Did you watch it at home, or are you it looks like that's the case, right?
Yeah, I watched it from home. I thought the first half was pretty sloppy. Yeah, definitely felt like there was you kept feeling that they were going to make this 6, 7, 8, 8-0 run, but then something would happen and they'd either give up a bucket. I felt like Sacred Heart made some plays that weren't really high probability plays. But overall, yeah, I feel like the pieces are there. Like the talent is there. They got the depth. Tarris Reed, I thought, looked amazing. Like he's
good.
a beast, man. You can just tell that he's just going to develop in this system. Solo ball, dare I say this now, but solo ball, I think is going to be better than Jordan Hawkins. Like he's got that quick release. You see him come off. I think it was in the second half. He just came off, quickly turned his feet and just popped it, and it just went in. And like he's a superior athlete to Hawkins. Hawkins was amazing, but he was just. I don't know. I'm going to call it now. Solo ball is going to be better than Hawkins. By the end of the season, we're going to be saying that.
I love it. Were you a little surprised by the starting lineup? Did that kind of throw you off with Aiden starting over Haas?
I think that was necessary. So I didn't that's what I expected. Like I just think Aiden is when he gets the ball in his hand, I just feel at ease. Like Haas, sometimes he gets the ball and sometimes he pushes it when I'm like, oh, what are you doing? And then he makes these incredible plays, but it's kind of it's high variance when Haas gets the ball. I like Haas coming off the bench and being that firecracker, just to stir shit up once he gets in there.
Yeah, I think for me, I agree with you. When we got the transfer in Aiden, I was like, I think that kind of solidifies Haas as the first guy off the bench. Not because he's not capable of starting, but I've had guests on the show and they say, well, why do you want to mess with Happy, right? Dan Hurley's happy when things are kind of the way they used to be, right? And Haas being on that bench, I feel it gives him a little bit of that. He's a superstitious guy. He has these little weird quirks. He does all the saging and the holy water on the court. I honestly think that's a superstition thing. And if Haas earns a starting position over Aiden as time goes on, he'll do it. But I think that's part of it is I feel comfortable with Haas coming off the bench. I feel comfortable with him starting. But I'm with you. I totally prefer, with him as a starter. That's my opinion. But also, I could see Ahmad Noel pushing to get some starting minutes later in the year because that kid is lightning fast. I'm telling you, that dude he's a dude, and he is. Once he starts getting a little more comfortable, that could be the thing later in the year, kind of like Kemba as a freshman in 2009. That kind of propels this team towards another national championship. That's my opinion.
100%, dude. The stereotypical UConn guard, the point guards are just the guys that are under control, just the guy, and that's what Noel is. Just the dude that I just feel can just calm things down, bring Shabazz Neighbor. That's my guy. I'm probably the few I take Shabazz over Kemba, but Shabazz is my dude. But Noel is that stereotypical just bulldog point guard. Yeah, he's my guy. I can't wait. The next 2-3 years with him is going to be amazing.
Absolutely, man. Well, listen, dude, thanks for jumping on. Come back anytime. I'm gonna drop you for a second because we got some other people waiting, but really appreciate your opinion and thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate you, man.
Take care, Mark.
Peace. All right, let's get Kyle on. Kyle, now that you're in a safe place, what did you think? What? No worries. What did you think of the? I'm gonna ask you this question because you were there. What did you think of the crowd?
A little underwhelming today.
I thought so too. I'm not even there, and I thought so.
UConn posted that this game was supposed to be a sellout. For a sellout crowd, it didn't really feel like a sellout. Especially in the second half, we need to figure out ways to keep the crowd involved. Especially if stuff's not going our way, like it was tonight, it gets a little sloppy. The crowd kind of gets out of it a little bit. But we're the back-to-back national champions. We deserve to have a home crowd that's I don't know, just makes other opponents just crumble. and we didn't have that. So
I also feel like too. Do you feel like just because and I see you, Reggie, too. Stay on with me, and I'm going to talk with Kyle here for a little bit, but I want to get you on the show. But I also feel like too, when it comes to this team, I know the coaches say this all the time, but sometimes fans don't listen. Which is the team you saw in April of last year winning a national championship is not the team that you saw tonight.
right, no,
that's okay, but it still was a very aesthetically pleasing team. They scored almost 100 points.
Yep.
They almost by 40 points. But I feel like UConn fans have been spoiled. And so
100%.
It's kind of like one of these things where it's like, if you don't win by 60, if there's not these 20, 30-0 runs, that sometimes it's kind of like, oh, someone misses an open shot. It's almost like a letdown.
Right.
Do you think that maybe was the prevailing theme a little bit tonight?
I mean, I definitely felt that, especially throughout the student section and the kids I was sitting with. Like, we had super, super high expectations from watching the last two teams, the last 2 years. And I feel like not that we didn't get let down tonight, but they definitely play a different style of basketball than the last two teams have.
For sure, man. Well, I hope you had a good time, and I appreciate
Thank
you
you
jumping on
again.
really quick. No, man. Always, you're the best. I appreciate you, man. Remember, if you're there all the time, you're gonna be my hype man. You got to get Dan Hurley to come on the show.
I got you. I'll do my best.
All right, brother.
All right,
We'll
thanks,
talk to
Mark.
you soon. All right, dude. Let's get Reggie on the program. I haven't heard from him. What's up, bro? How's it going? Hold on, you're muted. Let's get unmuted. There you go.
There we go.
You good?
How's it going?
Good, brother. How are you?
Good. I actually was just at the practice facility this week. I'm in California, but the team took care of me. I got to get a good behind the scenes.
Good deal,
I
man.
just got back in town yesterday. Good weather.
Awesome, bro. Well, listen, did you get to watch the game, or were you flying?
I did
or what
watch
was
the
deal?
game. I watched the game, half of it through my Tesla and half of it on the phone. But I liked the ball movement, a lot of turnovers, but McNeeley looked like a stud. Tarris kind of reminded me of Sonogo a little bit, the big body, not so nimble defensively like Samson. Everything was there. The only thing I think they're missing is that perimeter defender that we had in Jackson and Castle. That's what I'm looking for. I think that was the thing. The last two runs was anytime we played like a Dawson Connect or one of those like I forgot the kid from Illinois. We always had that Castle or
Terrence Shannon. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm looking for that. McNeeley looked pretty good on D. And I thought Samson got called for a little tic-tac fouls. I don't think he deserved 5, maybe 3.
Listen,
Yeah.
I said this. I put this in my notes. I have never seen a team, because I watch college basketball all over the place. I'm not just watching UConn,
Right.
Kansas, Duke, whatever, all the big time programs. UConn gets the worst home whistle.
Yeah, they do.
Especially in these bye games, where essentially you're supposed to just be like, listen, man, if you don't get a call, it's cool because you're playing at UConn. And in the first half, both Samson and Tarris had 2 fouls. And Samson has a propensity to foul, and he fouled out, and that's concerning. But Tarris Reed Jr. in the Big Ten, playing almost 30 minutes a game at Michigan, only averaged 3 fouls a game through his entire career at Michigan. That's one of the reasons why they wanted him in the transfer portal, because they felt like he had a lot of potential, and he was a kid that could play defense without fouling, and he did tonight. So I also felt like there was way too many fouls called. It's something so stupid, but it's a talking point. It just shouldn't happen. And I don't know what that's about. I don't know if it's Big East officials or whatever, but there's no way UConn had that many fouls against Sacred Heart. I mean, it's just not possible.
I was just screaming at the phone, the car. I was like, this is there one, and then there was another one. I think McNeeley had his hand straight up. He was backing off the guy coming towards him. And I mean, he didn't bring his arms forward like a lot of refs would call. So there were some of those. I just was a little perplexed. But besides that, Hurley looked fiery. McNeeley was good. I'm sorry I'm in a public lobby, but everyone looked good.
You're good, brother.
So, yeah.
That's what this is all about. This is funny. I have to show you this because this is a buddy of mine who's a Locked On Illinois host, and he said 30-0 run too soon, Mark. Sonny, you're my guy. I'm sorry to bring up 30-0 run against Illinois, but
another thing that I was kind of wondering, it looks like they have the talent to have about 9 players deep. And I know college players or teams don't usually go that deep. Usually it's like 7, maybe 8. But I mean, I was looking like we have 2 solid big men, kind of like the Klingen and Sonogo. We have a plethora of guards, and I mean McNeeley, Karban probably will change out a little bit. Maybe you might see McNeeley at power forward. I'm just kind of wondering, like, where's the minutes going to come from? Ross, Stewie, Abrams. Someone's going to have to sit. So I'm kind of curious to see what Hurley's going to do.
Yeah, man, I think that's going to be we're going to see that over the next 3 games and then into Maui. I think that's going to be the thing to pay attention to, is where the minutes come from. Ross has been playing the best out of any of them, apparently, according to Hurley. So I think they're going to utilize Tarris Reed once we start playing teams that have inside presence, which there isn't a ton of. Like, even the games we play against Gonzaga, Baylor, Texas, they don't have like these dominant big men. And I think Tarris Reed showed that when he gets a guy in his back, it's over. So I think that's going to be a huge advantage that UConn can capitalize on going forward. Well, listen, man, I really appreciate you jumping on. We're going to do this every night that UConn has a game, barring my children not being around. But I'm going to try to do as many live reaction shows as possible. I get you, man. I totally get it. Well, listen, appreciate you, man. Hope you're watching, and we'll definitely get back with you another time. All right, the best, dude.
Have a good one. Thank you.
You too, brother. That was Reggie from California watching the game in his Tesla. I mean, is there a more baller move than that? That's pretty awesome. Yeah, guys. I mean, I'm going to go into the chat here. If anyone else wants to jump on, feel free. Some negative stuff. This is silly. They don't look like the team I thought. Our guards going scoreless cannot happen. Who did Aiden Mahaney go scoreless? Is that what we're talking about? Let's see. Oh, it was 92-56? I have that wrong. 94-56. Sorry, guys. I'll have to change that. But let's look. While we're all here together. Yes, he did have no points. But he played a significant amount. And I thought he ran the point pretty well. Not great. I think he's going to be solid. I think you're going to see, as I've talked to Reggie and Tyler, I think you're going to see Ahmad Noel take over some of these bigger minutes down the stretch as a freshman. He's a 4-star, probably should have been a 5-star. That kid is legit, and he is the type of kid that's going to work and work and work and work until he is in that starting rotation. If he's not the starter, he's going to get a ton of minutes down the stretch. That's my prediction. I think Solo was obviously fantastic. He had 16 points, was 4 of 7. What else can you say about Alex Karban? It almost looks automatic for him. I think he's almost refined his shooting stroke a little bit, where it's so easy and so fluid. He made his first 4. He was 5 of 7 from 3. 7 blocks for Alex Karban. I even talked about this a long time ago about how he is one of the most underrated defenders on this team. 20 points for him, 7 assists, 7 blocks, 6 rebounds. Well on his way to All-American status. Liam McNeeley, an absolute bucket. The starting lineup is interesting. I think let's go to Ant here. Yeah, I think Abraham was better than Stewart tonight, and I know it's a long season, but I didn't like it. Yeah, I again, guys, don't overreact to anything from tonight. I don't think you're going to get 7 blocks from Alex Karban ever again. I don't think you're going to get Aiden Mahaney, who averages 13 points a game or 14 points per game as a college player and has scored 1,000 points in his career, to go scoreless ever again. I don't think you're going to ever see Liam McNeeley having 18 and 10, and I thought he probably could have had 25 and 12. So, like, it's just these little things. Like, don't worry about it. These things will be cleaned up. Dan Hurley is going to look at this film, his team. They're going to scheme. They're going to attack this from a different perspective. It's a learning game. The bye games are here to help your team focus on what needs to get better as time goes on. And you still win, and you still win by a lot. If you bet this game, the spread was 35.5, you won. Think about that. It's crazy. So real quick, I'm going to do a quick ad, and then we'll come back. If anyone else wants to jump on the show, feel free. But let's do a quick ad, and we're going to talk about it right this second, coming up after the break. Hey guys, let's be real. Sometimes life gets busy, and that can impact your confidence when it comes to intimacy. But Hims, taking care of yourself, is easier than ever. Hims provides access to doctor-trusted ED, like chewable hard mints and even generics that are up to 95% cheaper than the name brands. The process is straightforward. Just answer a few questions online, and a medical professional will determine the right treatment for you. No waiting rooms, no uncomfortable doctor visits, just discreet, effective care delivered straight to your door. With thousands of satisfied users, HIMS is trusted to help you find the ED solution that works for you. So why wait? Start your free online visit today by going to hims.com/lockedon. That's hims.com/lockedon. Okay. Also on the ticker here, if you love home field, this is a home field sweatshirt. It's fantastic. You get 15 or 20% off, or I forget, with the promo code UConn24. Check that out. Let's see what else is going on with the comments. What does Alex have to average to make All-Americans? I've said if he is 17 points, so it's an uptick of about 3 or 4 points per game. If he gives you 7 rebounds, 5 assists, I think he has to show, what an all-around game, not just a shooter. I don't think he's an average 20 points a game. So I think that's what we're talking about. Hey, Trevor, here's the link, bro. If you want to come back on the show, anyone wants to come on the show and give their opinion, there's the link. It's in the chat right there. Dan Meehan, there we go. Let's get him on. Let me answer this question. Is there a new Cam Spencer to this team we can spot after game 1? Yeah, his name is Solo Ball. And if you don't know ball. Let's get Dan in. Ooh, I want to get Dan in because guess what? We're getting a live shot of Ted's. Dan's taking us around. Taking us around a little bit. Let's see where we're going.
That would like to join the podcast, if you don't mind. That's scary. Mark DeMillo, you're live and you're locked on.
Oh, Mark DeMilio, what's up, buddy?
Action show after the game. What do you have to say from Ted's bar on the UConn campus?
Look, we can shoot the ball.
Over 40% from 3 tonight.
Liam is unbelievable. Alex is talent. Everybody, Solo Ball shot really well.
So I thought Solo looked incredible on defense. Tarris Reed, I think, was the story of the second half. My goodness. That man can rebound the basketball.
And I know about this play the first half, but he came in the second half. He's a good kid, good guard, out of Philly. I love that kid. So
this team is primed for a what?
Three-peat.
Baby, let's go.
Let's go. I love it, boys. I love it.
What's up, Mark?
What's up, Mark? How we doing, baby? Oh, man, that was dope. Thank you for Dan. He's having a good time. I wish I was there with you guys. I hope everyone's having a good time at Ted's. Yeah, man, if you guys want to jump on just like that, feel free. The StreamYard link is in the chat. I'm going to put it again in the Twitter chat that I'm in too. I would love to have some more folks jump on the show. We're going to be on for about 10 more minutes before my wife divorces me and tells me to get downstairs. So I will put that here. Would love to have you more come on. Mark DeMilio gave us some pretty good insight there. It's true. I think we can shoot the rock. I mean, we're going to have no shortage of offense. And also, I mean, we had 12 blocks total, 13 blocks. You had 7 from Alex, 2 from Samson, 2 from Tarris Reed, 1 from Ahmad Noel. So I just want you guys to not worry about the replacing of Donovan Clingan so much as how different it's going to look going forward. All right, we got Quinn Ernst in. Let's get him in the program. What's up, bro? How we doing?
Good. How you doing, man?
Good, brother. How are you?
Good. Yeah, man.
What you got?
My reaction is, man, I think we're still looking solid. It's definitely a different type of team, but, with Dan Hurley at the helm, I think, we really got to calm down and realize, we're still the UConn Huskies. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Westbrook.
Love it. Did you go to UConn or no?
No, I went to Eastern, so I'm like kind of a UConn guy, but not really. Just 15 minutes outside.
That's the majority of fans. I mean, I love a UConn alum, but I went to Sacred Heart.
I mean,
so there you go.
Yeah, no, it's in a small state of Connecticut. You really we love UConn, and it's crazy what we've done these past 2 years. So love to see what we can do, but it's nuts what Hurley has created with that culture. It really hypes up the state, and everyone's really locked in. I really love your podcast that you've been doing for the young normal guys like me, that just love locking into the local sports of Connecticut. And it's nuts that we've gone back to back nationwide. Everyone thinks the UConn has massive. Connecticut's small. You know what I mean? It's pretty nuts what we've been able to accomplish. But I'm excited for this year. I'm ready to see how we do versus some big schools. This was obviously just Sacred Heart, another local college, but I'm excited to see what we have to do. It's like Dan said, he didn't really see his team as that great until March of last year. So we'll see what we end up getting into. But I'm excited for the whole season to start, and it's just the start, baby. So we're all excited.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Dan has to say about this game in particular. I'm sure he's going to be fine with some of the offensive capabilities of his team, but I think there's going to be moments, as he's talked about this, where you really don't see him lose his shit on players during a game. Like, that's saved for practice. He's mostly all about he really goes after the officials, and that's about it. But I don't even think he really got after them that hard today. So I wonder if he saw some things that we didn't see, because for me, I thought it was sloppy, but it's to be expected. And also, I said this earlier, if you bet on this game, I think the spread ended at 35.5, and they won. So,
right.
It was even, I had the score wrong. I thought it was 94. It's 92-56. That's a 36-point spread. I think I said it was going to be 40 plus. So I was a little off, but it was damn close. I think it got to 40 at one point. So it's just one of those things, man. Like, I don't think UConn is going to have an issue. And that's the biggest thing, is like, when you have scoring threats, we're not Houston. We're not going to keep people from scoring and only give up 40 points in a game. But we're also not going to have an issue scoring in March when we play a team that hits a bunch of threes, because we're going to be able to match them. That's the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be different from – everyone's going to want to compare it to the team before. Obviously, it's going to be hard, but we'll see what they got. I mean, we're freaking got a talented roster still. But, yeah, each year is different, and it's still college basketball. But yeah, it's going to be hard to – I mean, we love the last team, you know what I mean? It's hard. It's easy. Cam Spencer, Tristan Ewan, we got a new roster now, so let them develop and everything. But, yeah, it's freaking awesome, man. Thanks for everything that you do, Mark.
I appreciate you, man. You get this a lot? This dude sounds like Tom Brady?
I've actually never heard that before. That's pretty cool, though.
Matt thinks you sound like Tom Brady. Maybe there's a future in broadcasting for you in the future.
Word.
But all right, dude. Have a good rest of your night and be well. Man. All right, dude.
Thanks
Peace.
a lot, bro.
All right, that was Quinn from Westbrook. Let's see if anyone else wants to jump on the show. I'm going to stay on for about 5 more minutes. Like I said before, my wife shoots me the text and says, "Are you done?" And I will be soon. But I really appreciate this, guys. There's about 50 people in the chat, which is awesome. We're really building as a great community here. I want you guys to think of this as kind of like a video spaces / live talk radio show, if you will. I know it's through the internet, so I guess it's not radio, but I'm sure you can watch it do the same thing that you do if you're in Jump on a Space, and you can still go on Spaces with Hot Balls and Hurley Mania after you jump on a live reaction show, because a lot of times those guys are at games, and I'm sure those things don't start right on time, probably like 10 or 10:30. So just wanted to give you guys another option to voice your opinion, your pleasure, your displeasure, and really go from there. So big shout out to my guys that jumped on, Kyle, Dan, some other folks that jumped in that are brand new. Hopefully they're, really love this. I love this team already. And it's not because they were perfect, but I think this team has a lot of potential to be great. This is a good team right now. But I don't see a lot of teams in college basketball that are really blowing my doors off. You could maybe say that about Alabama. You could probably say that about maybe Duke, but I almost throw up every time I say that because I don't want Duke to be even remotely as good as UConn ever again. And I don't think they actually ever will be, if we're being clear. As long as Dan Hurley is at the helm, I think he keeps the Dukies at the gate. All right, guys, last call if you want to jump on the show. If not, I'm going to kind of close out the night. Last thing I'll say is Tarris Reed is 100% going to be a beast and live up to his name. Big Hoss. Big Hoss is going to absolutely dominate down low in the Big East. I know this was Sacred Heart. It's a MAC team. But if you notice, I said this pregame in the pod today at 3 o'clock. And John Fanta talked about it. And Sarah Kostick said that. And we do have one more person that's going to come on the podcast here. We're going to get Trevor on here in about 2 seconds. But I will say, thank you, Cowboy Adama. Apparently, you were the guy who said homeboy Quinn sounded like Tom Brady. So I appreciate that. But no, what I will say is Sacred Heart had size, like positional size. So for UConn to dominate them pretty thoroughly throughout this game, once they got things rolling, showed a lot of character in this team, because against a lesser team like Temple, that's a 10-point game. That's a 15-point game. Trevor, if you can jump back on, I'll get you on, and then we'll end with you. But if not, I totally understand. While we're waiting for Trevor, if you love home field as much as I do, check out their site, www.homefieldapparel.com. Use the promo code UConn24 for all of your vintage needs, home field like this stuff. Let's get Trevor on. What's up, homie?
Hey, what's going on? I don't think we've actually ever talked in person before.
No. And you got a thorough beard too. I mean, like this is like Step Brothers. Do we just become best friends? This is fantastic.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're balding in the front, I'm balding in the back. It works out.
I'm balding in the back too, bro. Look at that.
Oh, hell yeah. There we go.
Oh yeah. The only reason why I even have hair is because my wife is like, don't shave your head. And if it was up to me, I would have the Dan Hurley look. I'd keep the beard, so maybe more like Kamani, but still.
I mean, honestly, I'm afraid to do that, so courage to you if you do it. But driving back, a lot of positivity going through, and I'm going to be the guy that kind of end it with a little bit of negativity.
Go ahead.
I think I threw it in our chat a little bit, but it's not just because of today. It was also because of the Rhode Island game as well. I need Sampson to stop fouling as much. Like, I mean,
I'm with you.
If you're going to be playing a majority on this team now, you're the starter now, this is supposed to be your game. You can't only give us 10 minutes. Like, I know there was some ticky-tack fouls, but
some pretty shitty fouls, though. I won't lie. Like, I agree with you. They get called. You're right. Like, you have to adjust. Like, it's just, I'm with you. I think you're right, but I also think, to your point, is he the starter going forward? Like, he will be for a while, but maybe not, because if Tarris Reed can give you 15 and 10, I mean, like,
yeah,
then maybe what Dan did tonight with Haas being on the bench, maybe he goes back to, because when they both transfer, when Tarris and Aiden both transfer, I did say it wouldn't surprise me at all. This was like 6 months ago. It wouldn't surprise me at all if both him and Tarris are starters. And then Dan goes back to the familiar comfort level, as superstitious as he is, of bringing Sampson off the bench and Haas off the bench to stabilize things. So
yeah, I mean, I don't hate it, but at the same time, I think it kind of depends on what style of offense we're looking at. If we're trying to do like the high flying back in the day with the Clippers when they had DeAndre and Blake,
right?
Griffin just coming flying in, great. But that actually kind of leads to the second part of it. I know Tarris had a good second half, but he needs to be a little bit more centered when he's on the block. There was multiple times when somebody that was smaller than him kept on knocking him just off, and it was throwing him off, and then he would have to pass it. I mean, come on, man. You got an entire shoulder on top of whoever's defending it. You got to drive that shit directly into this guy. And he started doing that a little bit in the second half. But when we get to bigger competition, when he has to actually take on some bigger, bigs in the Big East, I have a little bit of questions on it. I know he played for Michigan, but it's a completely different role, I feel like, when he's on UConn here, especially if you're trying to say that he's going to take a starting role. I mean, you gotta do it. I'm not actually asking for Adama Sanogo or anything like that, but I need that type of physicality, and especially if you're going to try to offset that when you have Sampson coming in that's going to do high flying blocks. I mean, like you already said too, it's technically game one, but it's definitely stuff to consider.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. And before we jump, I will say that you have to consider this. This is especially with Tarris and Aiden. I know Aiden struggled tonight too because he didn't score tonight. But what is interesting to me is these are two guys, and this is Dan Hurley on purpose. Not really kind of. It's kind of like, you ever watch a movie where there's like one enemy and there's like a group of guys, usually like a war movie where they essentially are like a band of brothers, and it's like, or you can even say that with like the movie with Miracle, where they essentially are, against Kurt Russell's character because it's a real life thing. And I think that Dan is purposely kind of makes the new guys, the transfers, not that they're not a part of it, but like all this stuff. Those guys don't go to the White House. They don't get the back-to-back sweatshirts. Like, I'm surprised those guys wore the national championship warm-ups today, because he does that on purpose as kind of like, you didn't earn shit yet. So like, that's still in their mind, that they're trying to impress. They're trying to be a part of this culture, that they're being a part of this championship ideal that Dan Hurley wants and the fans want. And so I think there's a little bit of pressure on both of them to kind of live up to these expectations. Baby Adama Sanogo. Can Aiden be between Cam and Tristan, as Dan has mentioned on multiple podcasts? So like, and I've said that too, like I think that he can, but it's going to take time. Like, these guys aren't going to be plug and play as maybe we thought, because it is, and Dan Meehan, who comes on our show a lot, talks about this all the time. This offense is super complex compared to the offenses that they've run. So I think we need to all of us need to take a step back and go, all right, it wasn't exactly what we wanted, but still almost a 40-point win. It's over a smaller competition, and we have a lot of work to be done. And I think that's what Dan wants. He didn't want them to come out and score 110 and look perfect, because then it's like, what do we work on? He'd find something, but he definitely has some things that he can go over.
Oh, so super quick, because I know you got to go too.
Yeah, you're good, bro.
But I actually think Aiden played fine. I think he had a lot of the offense. It just kind of looked a little disjointed. I saw what they were trying to do. We were like second row of the upper level, so we had a pretty good angle on everything that was going on. But yeah, I mean, Liam looked like a freaking rock star, and then Karban being able to bang threes. That's what we're gonna need. And so it's nitpicking for because we expect three-peat. We want three-peat. I mean, it's just like I'm gonna have to nitpick. Grew up a UConn women fan too. I did the same crap with them too, and I'm still doing it with them. So it's just that's where the bar is, man.
Make sure you come on tomorrow night when I do my live women's reaction show after their game against.
I'll be there too. So
all right, brother. Well, listen, have a good rest of your night. I'm gonna do one more ad and peace out of here. I appreciate
Sounds
you.
good, man. Yeah.
All right, bro. All right, that was Trevor. Trevor's a good dude. He's in my UConn chat. I think he won some tickets from us a little while back. Let me just talk about FanDuel really quick, and then we're going to call it a day. What's up, FanDuel fans? If you are a new customer, go check out FanDuel. You get $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet as a new customer. That's on FanDuel.com to join today. You get started with that $150 in bonus bets. Again, if you win your first $5 bet, that's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports book partner of the NFL. All right, you're back on Locked On UConn. Closing statements of the pod. Really appreciate all that came on. Really thank everybody that jumped on. I know sometimes it's kind of like, I don't really want to jump on. You don't have to come on audio. You don't have to come on video next time. You can come on audio if you want. If you just want to look at it like if it's a radio show. Let's go for a couple questions here. This is from HK. I wonder if Dan knew Solo and Liam probably go play the way into a draft pick. Dude, I've been saying that since the beginning of the year, that I feel like Dan is planning on. It's the reason why this class that he brought in, and Braylon Mullins will be on the show on Friday, or recording on Friday, be on next Monday. They went with a larger class because they're extending these rosters, and these guys are going to be good enough where they're going to get drafted. So Liam is definitely, if he plays as an 18-10 guy or an 18-9 guy, he's going pro. And if Solo is a 14 or 15 point scorer in this offense, he's going pro too. So we'll want to see some more from Jalen Stort. I think he's got some more, work to be done. I just see this AK. Yep, it's exactly right. All right, guys, let's get you out of here. Really appreciate you. First of many. If you're a UConn women's fan, as you should be, I'll be doing this again tomorrow night. If for some reason I don't, it's because my wife is working or my children are being toddler terrorists, like we talk about as a joke. And I love you guys. I love it all. Stay locked on. Stay connected. Make sure that toughness meter is always rising. And as always, go Huskies.